Fucking what? Hey yo, what's good? Cammygbr back at it again. Before I even start, I need to talk about it. I need to bust my gun a little bit. Pew pew, whatever. I do need to speak about it. Shout out Premier Battles, man. Getting nominated for fucking like media of the year. That is almost overwhelming for me. Cause I don't do what the other guys do. I don't do what the people who aren't nominated do. I do what I do. In comparison to what I do, what they do a lot more. But it's so humbling, man. Holy shit, man. Like, I've not known how to behave all day. Like, oh, I'm fucking media nominated media of the year. Like, yeah, that's an accomplishment, you know. And so salute Premier Battle. Salute to the other nominations like Jen, Turbs, Battle Rap Wax, Smokehouse, and shout out to those that aren't nominated that probably could be. Brill, Phoenix Fire, my guy Tom, Battle Rap Resume, Battle on the Roof podcast, man. And like there's loads and loads of media that could have taken my spot. Probably should have taken my spot. But I'll accept this humbly, man. I salute to everyone, man. Let's get right into it, because we had a spicy day on Sunday. Draft day, man. The first one that we had. Hoo-wee! A lot going on. A lot going on from that night to today, because it's the day after I've filmed this. Hoo-hoo-hoo! And you know what? The draft is done exactly as it should have been. It's got everyone going. We got people who are calling out others that never would have if not for the draft and the teams. We've got people who are either being gracious in defeat and not being in the pick, or are going at a different report. You know, they're going crazy, which is fire on both ends. Kind of got to watch what we're saying here, respectfully, but there's definitely people that could have been in that never made it. You know, like a Bard, Free Will, Hulk, Cooper, Bowski. You know, there's people that should have been in it but didn't. It's a shame with a lot of these guys picking who they want and who they can get. It's not only about skill level and veteranism, it's who these managers are okay to judge with. You know, that those who they are comfortable in really putting across in trying to develop them. Because maybe you're, for example, let's say you're Danny Jack. Can Danny Jack really put pointers across to a Hulk who is a veteran in this game? Could he really do that? Could a Sam Hypes tell Bowski about structure and how to write rounds? You know, there's definitely people who should have been in there and should have been somewhere. I'll mention this very briefly, you know, about I would say in particular Bard. Now I fuck with Bard heavy. As a person, really nice guy and a really good battle rapper, you know, and he's definitely playing the heel part. There's pros and cons to it, and I respect him for playing the heel part. Can't always just attack a business after, you know, there's ways of putting things across, is what it is, but I can understand what he's trying to say in a way. Like, that's as much as I say about it, but I also understand Premier Battle's decision to be like, what the fuck are you doing? So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's go through each team very quickly, and then we'll try and discuss it, okay? So we have Shark City, which is Shotty Horror, Bizzo, Visual, Black Tea, Raptor. Very much a Shark City team. Pride is Briggsy, Bobby Rex, Koji, Georgie Roots, and Kingsley Thunder. Very good team. I think that's kind of what they wanted, pretty much, except maybe Fire, good team. Now we've got Knights with Gemini, Tony D, Shuffle T, Scoop, and Mackenzie. Let's go, Mackenzie. Let's go. That's fire. Really good team. It'd be hard to get them all to do battles. I think, if you manage to get Tony D for doing 3 battles, you manage to get Shuffle T doing 3, Scoop doing 3. Incredible, but the likelihood's only doing 1 or 2. Gemini, you will probably be battling at some point, maybe twice, depending on structure and whatnot. Then you go on to Glory, that is Tubbs, Rivers, Frankie Frazier, Moke, and Crow. And on the final team it's pretty much a throwback team, which is Quill, Ark, Unanimous, Frost, and O'Shea. Now that's all the teams. That's a lot. That is a lot. So let's try and break these teams down a little bit more, right? So, Shark City, right? As a team is pretty good. A lot of newer guys plus Raptor. Because I would still, as much as Bizzo's been here for so long, his peak has only come after the tournament. Like, as someone who watched Bizzo since the Don't Flop days, and like I think one of my favorite performances of his was versus Tally, like way back. So I fuck with him heavy, but he's reaching his peak now. He's reaching his peak, and with the other guys, Black T hungry, Visual hungry, and then Raptor, whatever's going on with Raptor recently, whatever. But there's he can still show up. It's a good team in regards to work ethic. It's not a top tier team after Bizzo. Like the other 3 aren't the highest of tiers, the highest in their stock or anything like that. They're on their way, but as a whole team collective in comparison, it's like the new guys and the ones willing to do the most. So it's clever what Shotty Horde did there. Pride is exactly what you would expect from Pride. But it knew Bobby was going to be on it because he told everyone he was going to be on it. Having Koj on there as well, it was always going to happen. Georgie Rootson is interesting. Kingsley in it is interesting. So Briggsy is a bit of a scout. He likes the new guys. I feel like he was always going to go take Kingsley, but having Georgie in the mix, man, Georgie could change shit up a little bit, but having the help of a Bobby and the help of a Koj, like that, and having Koj with some consistency help would be DOS. But yeah, that's a real good team. Knights. Now, I think on paper this is probably one of the best teams. I would say it's one of the best teams on paper. Just how often they go into battle, and there is the little question mark of that, like who's going to battle who and when, right? So this team, you have Tony D, who says he's probably going to do 1 or 2 battles. You have Scoop, who's saying he's doing at most 2 battles. You have Shuffle T, who no idea about how often he's going to battle. He doesn't battle often. None of these guys do. It could be a situation where my guy Mackenzie gets them looks. I love that Mackenzie's in there because as his style actually fits that team. It fits it. Going the bar for bar, the fast pace. And having I can't imagine how good a Mackenzie will be with Gemini's help. That's it. Gemini and Tony D just looking over and what, bruh. Mackenzie will be a problem. Now, put money on that. He'd be a problem in this next division, right? Mandrill is such a throwback team. It's actually refreshing as fuck. Like, extremely refreshing. You kind of knew what you were getting with Shark City. You knew what you were getting with Pride. Knights, it was a little bit up in the air. Mandrill Mob is so refreshing. It's fucking DOS. Like having Quill as the manager, having O'Shea should have been picked way before, but man, it's the draft. having Ark in there, and Frost. You know what? And I'll go back and forth with Frost, whatever. Frost's style is like he is like the veteran new crop. Like you knew he had it as soon as the first battle happened in Dub Scandal. He had the had his own style. He had the old thing. He had it all, and he's in a team with a bunch of veterans who can then push that forward. Again, Frost will be a problem with the help. Everyone, he's going to be insane. I'm really happy. I'm really proud of Frost actually because that is he's not had the best year to end. However, being in that team for next year sets him up fucking nice. Nice. In the final team for Trubs, now, with Trubs' team's great as well, you know, and it is a bit of a shitmare when you're picked last. However, he's actually been very clever with it. Like, there's probably a few battlers that could have been, like, top tier Division 2 in it, but he's just took them. And his style, Trubs' style, because Trubs he's a veteran fan, been in the culture for a long time, battled for quite a while. But if he took a Tony D, if he took an O'Shea, if he took any arcs, if he would be able to struggle to help them because they're so deep in the game. I can't go up to a battle rapper and tell them how to do their shit. You know, I might give advice, but I can't do that. So you got to be comfortable in who you're willing to be honest and give advice with. You know, like Rivers is experienced enough, and Trubs has worked with Rivers whatnot before. Having Frankie there is a great like contrast, even between Rivers and Trubs styles. You know, and then you have Crow. Crow's going to take all this in as like a sponge. He's going to soak it all in, and I think a lot of the bottom picks are going to be up there for sure. And having Moke there too. Moke is still new in the game. Like, and as a spoken poet or whatnot, like, you can get advice from a Frankie Fraser on how he writes and how you know, how do you gather your references and whatnot. And because I think that's the one thing with Moke. Moke is great, but Moke, he's good at picking the fruit that you can see, where Frankie can, he catches things that no one else sees. And we go, whoa, you know, Frankie will go there and risk it for the biscuit, where Moke will grab everything that's in front of him and hit you with it. Another really good team, and I wouldn't sleep on this team. I would not sleep on this team. This is another, like Shark City, this is a hard working team. It's a hard working team where you have, and I'll say it as it is, Knights and Mandrill, who are big names, but will they battle all the time? Don't know. We don't know until it happens. There's little question marks on how often that they'll be participating, how often they'll be a part of the culture. You know, it's little question marks on all the Yunnan. How often will Yunnan battle? How often will Ark battle? How often will Tony D battle? How often will Shuffle T battle? How often will Scoop battle? How often will O'Shea battle? You've got Mackenzie and you've got Frost, who will pick up slack, plus you guys as managers. But they are heavy hitting teams, both of them. If I'm making a prediction on how they'll get on, so no battles have happened, pretty much a clean slate. My prediction for this lot, I think Mandro might win. Like, if and I don't mean to put the pressure on it, Mandro will win depending on Yunnan. Yunnan is the wild card pick, I think, of everyone. Maybe him and Raptor currently were wild card picks. You have Ark, who will battle maybe twice, but Ark will give you 3 solid rounds, and it'll be killer material. Quill, for as long as Quill's been in the game, there's still battles that Quill can take. He's been here long enough but still has enough, of refreshing good battles that he can do. Frost will just, he'll be on a tear with the greats being around. O'Shea is the ultimate neutralizer. Like what can you say against an O'Shea? Eh, like O'Shea's so great, but then you have Yunnan, and if Yunnan, because Yunnan has it's either he's the fucking man, or there is a crash and burn. But Yunnan is such a professional that his standards of now are way up here. But how often is he going to be there for the battles? If Yunnan does 3x3 consistent rounds, 3 battles, there's a good chance that they've won. So I'm going to put Mandrill at 1. I might have to try and put Knights in second place. I know I'm saying this about the question marks of will they battle that often, and how on paper, man, it's such a strong fucking team that you could look at the Knights and go, they've probably beaten most of the roster already. And as long as they all constantly battle, they should be a second place. Debatable first. Debatable. Third could go either way. It could literally go any way. If I have to, because this is tough. Fuck. Go Pride. Pride going third. So, my reasoning for Pride to go in third. You've got Pride of all the teams is probably the most balanced. And what I mean by that is everyone in Pride is a different style. In fourth, now as I said, from third to fifth, it could go anyway. To me, between these last 3 places, like, I wouldn't be mad at having any of them anywhere, because they're all good teams. But if I have to put one somewhere, fourth place, Sharks. Sharks, you have the ace in the hole with Shotty Horror. You have the champ Bizzo. And as a team, even with having Visual and Black Tea, it is a good team. They're still relatively new, and Raptor had that amazing performance versus Mackenzie, but we've kind of not seen him since. And I'm hoping that we just get him back and he's on A form. I honestly would believe that depending on Raptor or how often Shotty Horror battles determines where they go. I don't know if Shotty Horror is going to battle often at all, or if it's just he's going to do 1 or 2 and he's going to help the lead. If Shotty and Raptor are the keys to the team, Visual will do his thing and Black Tea will do his thing. Whether they win or whether they lose, put him against half the roster and let you come to your own decisions on that. But it's a really good team, and if this was over the span of 3 years, for example, this would be the number 1 team, because this is the hard-working, consistent team. This is the team that are going to be here for the long run and will just battle at every event. I could see Visual battling 6 times because he'll just go to every event, and I could see Black Tea trying to show up and really do shit. I think it's dependent on the other 2. Which means the final team, sorry Trubs, Glory's going in 5th. I'm only putting them in 5th for now. Like, 5th isn't really saying, oh, you're definitely going to be last or anything. You could be anywhere. Looking at the rest of the roster in comparison to what you have, it's a bit of a daunting task. Now, Moke is great. Crow he's on the up. Frankie is a great, and so is Rivers. Looking at the rest of the roster, like having these guys battle who, and You know, like it might be, it either be debatable, or you might win off a debatable battle, or people will have you losing. This is like without any taking, scratch the record, nothing is set in stone or anything. But when you look at the battlers and then look at the other teams and the skill levels, I think their skill levels are slightly higher. Not as a diss to anyone, because individually they are great, but they're not the big names, and that's basically what I'm trying to say. Oh, I'm going to get punched on for that though. Oh! As a final note, man, looking at the schedule and what's going on, I think for me, the event I'm probably going to go to, because they've released the schedule for the year, so it's like team versus team, but they've not announced any matchups, not announced nothing. I'll definitely be, I think it's April 1st, I think it is, and it's Knights versus Mandrill. Because no matter what way you look at that, it's a heavy hitting card. 3 battles from that, either of them 6. When you've got the likes of Gemini, Tony D, Scoop, and Shuffle T, and Mackenzie against either Quill, Arc, O'Shea, Frost, or Yunnan, like the matchups, like a Scoop and Yunnan, Arc and Tony D, a rematch, or Gemini, Quill, Mackenzie, like there's a lot. There's a lot that could hit there. That's a main event on its own. So, but I'll try and get to one more as well. I'll need to see when Pride vs Sharks, maybe. We'll see. So that is the blog there, man. Cammygbr are back at it. Next week, hopefully, we'll have Division 2 as another spicy meatball. A lot going on. See. Just cut it there. Just that's it. I'm cutting it there.